John was a young man who had always been plagued by vivid nightmares. Each night he would find himself trapped in a terrifying dream, running from an unknown entity that chased him relentlessly. The fear would grip him as he sprinted through dark and eerie landscapes, desperate to escape the clutches of his pursuer. One fateful night, John fell into a particularly unsettling dream. He found himself in a desolate, abandoned city, its streets shrouded in darkness. The wind howled through the empty buildings, creating an eerie symphony of haunting whispers. John's heart pounded in his chest as he realized that the pursuit had begun once more. With every step he took, the world around him seemed to shift and distort, as if reality itself was warping. Shadows twisted and contorted, merging with the walls and morphing into grotesque figures. Fear gripped John's soul, and he pushed his body to its limits, desperately searching for an escape. In his dream, John's lungs burned, and his legs ached as he raced through the labyrinthine streets. He could feel the hot breath of the pursuer on his neck, a chilling reminder that he was never truly alone. Panic consumed him as he questioned whether he would ever wake from this nightmare. Finally, John's eyes fluttered open, his body drenched in sweat. He let out a shaky sigh of relief, realizing that he had once again managed to escape the clutches of his dream. He looked around his room, reassuring himself that he was safe, that it had all been a figment of his imagination. Days turned into weeks, and John's nightmares persisted. Each time he woke up, he would find himself back in his room, but the haunting memories of his dreams lingered. He became paranoid, unable to shake the feeling that something was watching him, even in the waking world. Then, one night, as John lay in bed, he felt an overwhelming sense of dread wash over him. The room grew colder, and the air became thick with an oppressive silence. He tried to move, but his body felt heavy, as if an invisible force was holding him down. Panic set in as he realized he was not dreaming this time. A chilling voice whispered in his ear, sending shivers down his spine. "No more running, John. This time there is no escape." The words echoed through the room, dripping with malevolence. John's heart pounded, and he mustered every ounce of strength to break free from the invisible restraints. With a surge of adrenaline, John fought against the unseen presence, his body trembling with exertion. As he struggled, the room around him began to shift and distort, mirroring the nightmare landscapes he had encountered in his dreams. The walls warped and twisted, revealing grotesque faces and writhing shadows. Summoning all his courage, John forced himself to run. Every muscle burned with exhaustion, but he refused to give in. He sprinted through the distorted reality, his mind a whirlwind of terror and desperation. The pursuit was relentless, the pursuer's presence seeping into every corner of his consciousness. As John's legs carried him through the nightmarish realm, he could feel his strength waning. But just when it seemed he would be caught, a blinding light erupted ahead. With a burst of hope, John pushed himself forward, racing towards the salvation that beckoned him. As he reached the light, John was abruptly jolted awake. He gasped for air, his body drenched in sweat once again. He frantically looked around, expecting to find himself in his room. But this time something was different. John was no longer in his room. Instead, he found himself standing in the midst,